the creator of the supposedly unfair Pokemon Kaizo series, now undergoing a rare challenge, a no EXP run of Pokemon Blue. The no EXP Sinister run rules: species clause, no legendaries, no rare candies, no daycare, no items in battle, no glitching. Additional rules include no overleveling the boss Pokemon, which is very possible, and only using Pokeballs to catch Pokemon. Gift Pokemon and trading Pokemon are fine. What the rules entails is that there can be no 2 Pidgeys with sand attacks. The only legendary birds you can get are Pidgey, Fearow, and Farfetch. So forget about Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres. No level 40 Omastar. No skipping that horrible Brock early game until Water Gun, or grabbing a Mew. No items in battle like X-Accuracy, potions, antidotes, or Safari's balls. Yes, that means no Safari Zone Pokemon in this run. Makes the game more interesting. I chose Squirtle because it is the blue version mascot. From now on, Gary will use the Venusaur line. Why? You cannot even see a Venusaur for the Pokédex if this does not happen. Now, this is the most annoying part of the game by far. I am not looking forward to doing this in red and yellow. Really not. And it's all because of Brock, and the fact that you barely get anything. You wanna know what the highest level Pokemon you can catch? 5. Brock is over level 12, with rock types. Your only special attack is Thunder Shock, which does jack to any of Brock's Pokemon. I think this gym was made to encourage kids to actually level up their Pokemon and use special attacks. You can't even use status against Brock, as he's the only boss in the whole game that uses full heals. Doesn't help that you get poisoned in an itemless run. Even a level 6 Weedle is a hassle, especially itemless, since half the time you are going to get poisoned. That's how bad it is to be underleveled early game. So for now, you can forget about deathless runs. I beat all the trainers for lots of money because I don't have a sleep move yet. This includes the awful optional Gary battle and his level 9 Pidgey with Sand Attack. But that optional boss isn't as bad as the other optional boss, the junior trainer with the Diglett and the Sandshrew. I have died many times, thanks to critical hits bypassing Growl. If you don't want money, skip this fight at all costs. Even if you do want money and a challenge, skip this fight if you care about your sanity. You're better off playing in the slots. Well, no, not really. Now for Brock himself. Due to the high defense and rock typing, it is very possible that you will run out of PP on your attacking move. This will kill you for sure, so make sure you use Tail Whip on the offender. Unfortunately, Geodude also has Defense Curl, so Tail Whip is semi-pointless on that. You will have to Growl it at first, then Sand Attack it, so it does very little damage to your only Pidgey. Then you spam the hell out of tackles. Speed up button will shave time off here. Once Geodude goes down, Brock's level 14 Onix comes out, and can do a lot of damage in different ways to your level 5 Pokemon. Sand Attack is the most powerful move you have for the overleveled bosses in general. There is a complication in this fight though: Bide. Bide is a non-priority move that can stay idle for 2 or 3 turns randomly, taking damage. One of the worst moves in the whole game, Bide actually has a use in this particular battle because no matter what, you are not killing Onix within 3 turns. Oh no. Why is it so complicated? Bide is one of the fewest moves that Sand Attack does not affect at all. That move never misses and will result in your death because Onix is really fast and cannot be paralyzed. You have to attack Onix so that its HP goes down, but Bide reflects that damage, especially if Onix uses Bide first, and the energy unleashed will never miss. One of the worst things to do is not Tail Whip it either, because otherwise you will struggle to death. But you don't want to be wasting Tail Whip PP either. So, what do? One Pokemon of note is level 5 Caterpie, exclusive to the blue version. This is the only Pokemon with a speed reducing move that affects ground types, and turned out to be clutch in the Brock fight. Understandably, the tiny and weak Caterpie is going to need a lot of help from his stronger but still very weak teammates. Here is what you need for Brock's Onix with no items. A few growls to soften the damage, possibly before it dies. Then bring in Caterpie to grab multiple string shots, slowing Onix down for sand attack abuse and damage. Since Onix will go second, you won't get touched by Bide if you are really patient and have plenty of time. Once you outspeed, Bide becomes your window of opportunity to inflict stat reduction. You'll need accuracy, growl, a speed drop, and defense drop on that Onix to take it down. I had to speed up because I don't have time, and I was getting irritated. This caused me to be a bit reckless, taking damage from Bide by accident. That's really the strategy. Slow Onix down, attack when Brock doesn't use Bide, and use status or switch when he does. There is a danger of running out of PP, so by this time you want to include every Tail Whip or Leer attack on these rock Pokemon, because once you start struggling and Brock triggers Bide, you are going to die. After Brock is defeated, your ordeal isn't over yet. Force trainers stand in the way. Sand attack Pidgeys and Ekans with Wrap. Your suffering isn't over until you get past the last bug catcher. Do not even think of taking on the level 14 Spearow or Jigglypuff at level 5. After that, I hunt for the rarest Pokemon, the top 1%. For nearly every route, there is a 1% rare encounter that takes an insanely long time. A rare Pokemon with the highest possible level is the usual outcome. I had to make cuts even in the raw footage. Our star Pokemon will be a level 7 Jigglypuff, with the only sleep move available in red and blue, Sing. I also catch replacement Pokemon to update the levels. Paris is useless except for cut, Zubat outspeeds things, Geodude has some important uses, particularly for one nasty rocket battle, but our star is a level 12 Clefairy. There are 2 Moonstones, Water Gun TM, a Mega Punch TM. You might think another Sing user. It only gets Sing at level 13, with a rule set of not using rare candies. Even with this downside, Clefairy is essential. I used the first 3 items on Clefairy, turned it into a Clefable, and now I have a strong Pokemon. The other Moonstone is used for Jigglypuff for some key survivability and Sing. Beware of coughing, it can poison you. But above all, beware of the Rocket Grunt with the level 16 Raticate. It has Stab, Hyper Fang, and Quick Attack. If you want money, you'll need Geodude and Sand attacks. I chose the Helix Fossil because they are in my way. Out of the cave, I catch a rare Pokemon in the blue version, Sandshrew. Sand attack and defenses? Yes please. Already it looks like blue version is somewhat easier to do a no EXP run. Watch out for the rival. His star Pokemon, a level 19 Pidgeotto, is a monster with Sand attack, Quick attack, and a high level. Sandshrew and Geodude is key here. The birds can destroy Bulbasaur afterwards. Every trainer I encounter at this point is hard by default. I could lose a good portion of my team to any one of them. But there are standouts, such as that junior trainer and the Rocket. The 5th Nugget Bridge trainer, for instance, has a Mankey that inflicts 100 damage on you with a critical hitting Karate Chop. If that was fighting type, my run might have ended here. At this point, you want to catch the strongest grass type because Misty and the Hikers are coming up next. Bellsprout is Pokemon Blue's exclusive. It gets Growth, Vine Whip, and Wrap. Misty needs setup because her Starmie is ridiculously powerful. Heck, even the Goldeen before her is a problem due to Peck being super effective on a low-level Bellsprout. Different damage calculations. I use the same strat I did on Golding as I would on the Sea Stars. Sand attack Star You, sleep it, then set up 6 growths. Bellsprout Whip Star You. Starmie, on the other hand, tackles the Venus Flytrap, putting it in half health, and the overpowered Vine Whip only takes half HP. Misty doesn't go for an X defend on that turn, and kills Bellsprout, and the rest of my team. I kid you not, this is not the weak anime Starmie. Let's go over what Starmie has over your underlevel Pokemon. High speed, means it always goes first and gets critical hits very often, due to the formula favoring the speed stat, math. Second, Starmie has some beastly base stats compared to everything in the game, particularly special, meaning it will survive super effective special attacks, and it will crush everything with a stab boosted water gun or deadly bubble beam, with critical hits. Tackle is still very strong and can critical hit. Misty will leave one opening to use her X defend, meaning Mega Punch and Tackle is useless. You do not have a lot of turns before Starmie wipes you out, so I had to change tactics. I gotta go rough on Staryu and try to weaken Starmie's stats for Bellsprout. As you see, Staryu of all things is fast and strong enough to nearly tear apart PP the Clefable. You need a miracle from a legendary bird to beat that Starmie. In comes Bird Jesus, or Bird Jr., with the legendary tactic of blinding the boss with sand. I don't know how you would blind a gemstone, but that X defend was vital. You might have to retry for that moment because any attack not named Tackle will exterminate Pidgey. Yeah, Pidgey better have been grinding and box tricked because Water Gun would have killed. Still, I was scared out of my wits because Starmie was still landing deadly hits on my tiny Pokemon. I had to put this Pokemon to sleep with a move that only hits 55% of the time. Wigglytuff was bulky enough to take a tackle, but I missed the first turn. In comes Bubble Beam, and it misses. Sing connects. I must get the accuracy lowered until it can no longer do so. Sleep can last a long time, nearly 7 turns, and on the turn it wakes up, it cannot attack. This is overpowered beyond belief. Now if you combine with Sand Attack and the fact that the AI never switches or heals sleep, you can go far with some of the weakest Pokemon imaginable. Pidgey comes closer to killing Starmie than a Bellsprout that set up 6 growths. But Starmie decides to crush my hopes and kill Wigglytuff before I could sleep it. Only Bellsprout is left. One critical hit tackle and it's over. But with that miss, Bellsprout lands the Vine Whip and kills that monster Starmie. With that, I save Bubble Beam for later. Now I could feasibly catch Dugtrio, like certain other YouTubers, and do this battle a lot faster, Bubble Beam notwithstanding. But this is a Sinister run. I am following a no over-leveling rule set, no higher level than the gym leader. So why not catch other Pokemon? Misty is technically optional until Digless Cave. I'll keep in mind for next time. However, even if you try to grab higher level Pokemon for Misty, there are 3 reasons why that may not be such a good idea. When trying a new glitch, you must be further off ahead of the youngster. 2. Slowpoke hits really hard and is really bulky. Stab confusions and at minimum headbutt at level 18. Yeah, you could in fact get wiped out by this. One nasty rocket grunt stands in the way. Machop and his Karate Chop delivers a strong 100 damage with a critical hit. But the worst to come is Drowsy. Let me tell you how powerful this thing is. It has psychic powers, meaning nothing hits it super effectively. It has no weaknesses at this point in the game. In addition, it has Hypnosis. Sleep is overpowered. Drowsy also has a really high special attack, unlike the dirt slow Slowpoke and at level 17 it has Stab Confusion by now. Drowsy's not slow and it can get Hypnosis or Confusion on you and lay waste to your team. Your only resistance to psychic powers at this point is an Abra with no attacking moves. Still, with Sand Attack abuse, I press on. Be careful, or you will get wasted by one of the most powerful trainers in there. The most powerful bug catcher in the whole game. The one with the level 20 Butterfree, and it is really nasty. Sleep Powder, Confusion, Stun Spore, Supersonic. A mini-boss, if you will. By the way, that Butterfree's face looks like Venonat's. What's up with that, Game Freak? After getting past the horrible trio of Pidgeys with the Sand Attack, you are forced to face off against the level 16 Raticate. The Rocket Grunt was optional, this fight is not, and you have a Spearow to contend with as well. After that, I capture... Now I have 2 sleepers on my team. Sadly, no confusion because it only gets it at level 17. Now, one important note is the Farfetch'd. It is very helpful at this point in the game. Sand Attack and Peck, higher base stats. Could it get any better? It can learn Cut and later on Fly. It is a great partner for either bird on your team. All you have to do is grab a very common level 17 Spearow at this point. Even at this level, it can do very well before Erica. Now I visit the Diglett's Cave multiple times due to level restrictions. For now, I only get a level 20 Diglett for the rival battle on the boat. One important note is to grab Body Slam from the SS Anne. You will have to fight a tricky trainer for it, but it is one of the best moves in the game, and now is your only chance to grab it. Otherwise, it is gone forever. And so is the TM for Rest. Be warned that some water types and Machops will prove too strong for your non-Dugtrios, but this is the point of a challenge. The rival is a bit tougher now, he has good AI, and more fully evolved threats in addition to that Pidgeotto. The 2 new additions are Kadabra and Drowsy is your best option for that thing. Next is Ivysaur, which is fortunately defeated by Farfetch'd. Afterwards, I destroy the Vermilion Gym, puzzle and all. The only Pokemon you need to beware of is Voltorb. Not because it can go boom, it can't just yet, but it can go Sonic Boom. You are underleveled, the Diglett has extremely low HP, and Sonic Boom does 20 damage when it hits. The key thing is that Voltorb is slightly faster than Diglett, unless you box trick. Vermilion Gym is not complete cakewalk like you would believe, but it is exponentially easier than Misty or Brock. Kind of a complete 180 to the anime. So I decide to spice things up and let Geodude and Anakin the Sandshrew shine. Anakin ironically hates sand, and shows us just how coarse and dry it is by blinding the electric Pokemon. Surprised it is a normal type move considering running fast or sleeping is considered psychic type. We'll get to that. Raichu cannot touch your ground types, and even with Thunderbolt, your prize for victory. I saved this Thunderbolt TM because for some reason electric types don't learn any damaging electric moves in this game. Dugtrio is overkill for this gym anyway. Speaking of, the first real wild boss of the game, and the only source of tension in Vermilion City, is a Dugtrio much higher level than the gym leader. Armed with Sand Attack, Dig, amazing speed and power, Dugtrio can annihilate your low-level party if you try to sequence break. Dugtrio's catch rate is notoriously low. I'm assuming that's why it was okay to leave this monster, stronger than Surge, right by the area. There is a strategy for Dugtrio though. Get Pidgey, Farfetch'd, and Spearow for additional support. The most dangerous move left is Scratch. With Dugtrio's base speed, it will crit very often, so you are going to take a lot of damage anyhow, even with flying types, but you do not want to be hit by Dig. So blind the triple mole, try again if it wipes you out. Once you get its HP low enough, be careful, its physical defense is weak and crits will nearly kill it. Now send in your sleeper, Drowsy or Wigglytuff, preferably both, and now I show why the Pokeball run is made this scary. Dugtrio is very strong for Pokeballs. And of all the Pokemon I've caught in the game, this one is one of the top 5 hardest to get. The only other ones were Exploders. Now I get into Rock Tunnel. I got a new team, Voltorb for Flash Abuse, and Sonic Boom to weaken Pokemon consistently. Slash Sandshrew, an Onix, and a Geodude. Now the rock types are vital because we are going to be facing a hiker with 3 Exploders. One of them happens to be an underleveled Graveler, very notable in J. Ross 11's run. However, the required Pokemaniacs are some of the toughest trainers you'll encounter thus far. Stab Bone Club, good AI, and a nasty Slowpoke. Wow. Oh, and let's not forget, the grass types get Stun Spore now, and the Pidgeys are still annoying without super effective hits. And you are still kind of underleveled. At this point, I had to skip as many trainers as possible. But now I reach Celadon and capture amazingly good Pokemon. Vaporeon is a key member. Electrics don't learn electric moves, and you can get a fully evolved fire type in the grass. You won't get a water type so soon other than a useless Magikarp, so Vaporeon is the primary choice. And you'll need powerful Pokemon because the rival is crazy strong now. His Raticate has died, probably because his evil Gyarados has eaten it. It can bite you, leer at you with scary looking eyes. Seriously, look at the sprite, it's so intimidating. But the real problem is that it already knows Hydro Pump. The guides misled me here. Wild Gyarados theoretically could have Hydro Pump starting out, but not in Yellow where it gets Thrash. You might be tempted to grab Jolteon or waste a Thunderbolt TM at this point in the game. I'm telling you right now, don't. Do not waste Thunderbolts on a weaker Pokemon. Or the late game Gyarados will destroy you, your friends, your family, and your precious city. Instead, Raticate, Vaporeon, or status moves is your way to go. Beware, it has Dragon Rage as well. Gyarados is not an easy obstacle to get past. Kadabra and Pidgeotto is still a big threat here. Growlithe is nothing. Some Pokemon's encounter rates are impacted by which version you have. The Pokemon that took by far the longest to encounter was a Kakuna, even more than the other 1% encounters. I mention this since that happened in the raw footage. I take down Team Rocket, and Giovanni was much harder in the remakes, where Kangaskhan had a better special defense, had Mega Punch instead of Rage. Bite hurt the rock types. Yeah, I don't know what happened here. I fought Rocket grunts harder than this. The anime made me scared of Giovanni as a kid, because he was shadowy and he had the ultimate Pokemon that could never be defeated. Well, here I beat him and catch one of my favorite yet overpowered Pokemon, Ghastly, but not Haunter yet. Grass types are annoying with their status moves and high special, especially Bellsprout combining with that rap. The cool trainer is stronger than the other girls with powerful Pokemon. Only the Execute is kinda scary looking. I bring this up because Erica is exploitable. If you fight her with a grass Pokemon, Victreebel and Vileplume will abuse Poison Powder and you win. Most smarter kids would try to use fire types, and oddly enough, lose because of Poison Powder and Wrap. Ghastly gets screwed by Razor Leaf and Stun Spore. Wrap restricts ghost types sadly, so you might think, oh well, wait until Wrap misses. Even with infinite PP on the enemy, there is no issue. I've tried that before, and my AA Game Boy batteries ran out and I lose. Story of one of my attempts in the past. Tangela is a stocky grass type with hyper potions, but it can't hurt you unless you're already status. In that case, Bind is a major hassle. I did try to get Hitmonlee early on, just to see how fun it is to use. Big mistake. All the Fighting Dojo trainers out-level me, and even Dugtrio struggles here, especially the Hitmonlee and the Hitmonchan. But the level 30 is pretty necessary for repel purposes. If your Pokemon levels match, you encounter them. A level 30 Hitmonlee will let me encounter a level 30 Haunter, skipping everything else lower level than it. Finally, I get to the top of the tower, and after an hour of speed up to find the rare 1% level 30 Haunter, I had to catch it. Es importante because it gets Hypnosis by level 30, and is one of the strongest Pokemon you can get at this point, all the way up to late game. Haunter is pretty vital to catch other Pokemon, and defeat overpowered bosses. I actually used the Dream Eater TM for this one. Because I love Haunter so much, I actually learned how to use Pokeballs around level 30 first time playing just to catch it. After that, I caught every Pokemon with a Haunter except Legendaries. Be warned, Haunter is not easy to catch with Pokeballs, so use lots of Sand moves and Sleep moves. It also hits pretty hard and can sleep and confuse you. Consider this a boss challenge. Dugtrio's Sand attack will serve you well here. Then I grabbed Snorlax. With Haunter's immunity and hypnosis, it was manageable but annoying to get Snorlax, because it can recover health with rest. Though it took less time to catch with Pokeballs, it will take some time. Then I go to the Safari Zone and catch Gold Teeth and Surf. Yeah, sticking with my Pokeball only rule, I cannot catch other Pokemon with Safari Balls. They have great ball mechanics. At least I don't have to worry about trying to hunt down Tauros or Chansey. Silver lining. And then I grab a Super Rod to help get a level 23 Jinx. Regardless, Koga's gym, where the trainers are the real danger, and the gym leader is kind of a joke. Because they have Pokemon with psychic powers. Level 38 Hypno is the strongest Pokemon in the game you encounter thus far, and it knows Psychic. It is insanely powerful even by in-game standards, and if I wasn't careful, it could kill my entire team really easily. The rest of the Pokemon with Psychic powers, and 2 Sand Slashes are the other obstacles that aren't as dangerous as the level 38 Hypno, but level 34 Hypno is still kinda scary. Now for Koga and his coughing. Wait, that's not a coughing. What? So you know how I got the no EXP run? Was it Game Shark? Was it from an IPS file? No, I did some hex editing. I am the hacker, after all. It was then I realized, wait, I could make the run more exciting. See, the early game was much more difficult until you catch some overpowered Pokemon. Now is a great time to fiddle around with the sets. Koga's Pokemon. I had a choice between Haunter and Golbat. Haunter is the more dangerous attacker of the two, but Dugtrio runs through it. My logic for choosing Golbat over Haunter was that Koga had a Golbat in the anime, so there it is. Because of good AI, it will spam Confuse Ray on Haunter because it is super effective. It will never use the normal type Bite, but it will also never use the effective Wing attack. Still, Confuse Ray is not agility, so you can still die if you have really bad luck. You don't want to switch either, as good AI will predict you perfectly. Eventually, Golbat goes down. Out comes Weezing, and unlike the level 43, it does not use self-destruct and kill itself. It does keep Smokescreen at that high level, so it is mildly annoying to deal with. Following up with the lower level Muck, keeping the same annoying minimized moveset, Koga is big on accuracy abuse, along with poison types. Finally, he brings out the big gun, the Venomoth. Now, with Toxic replacing Siding, it would have been stuck with Leech Life only, so I learned to change that special move into Psychic. Now we got a really tough gym Pokemon with Psychic powers. Don't teach Exeggutor Psychic. It is low leveled and it will get drained by Leech Life. Ground types are slept or stunned by its powder moves, and its Psychic powers just rips apart flying types. I nearly lose to Koga because of this. I made a challenge run even more difficult. Why do this hard for the sake of being hard? Because it was an exciting battle and the level 50 Venomoth in yellow functions roughly the same. One thing to note is once you beat Koga, 2 areas are open, and that is where I captured the most powerful Pokemon. And it is not the legendary birds. Seafoam Islands has so many powerful water types, but the version exclusive here is Kingler, which is better than Lickitung, who really blows. Even the level 30 Snorlax is stronger than that. The power plant has a bunch of electric types lacking in electric moves. Version exclusive is a wild Raichu, but I am going for one of the static encounters. Notice the items on the ground have Voltorbs at level 40, that's pretty high. But 2 of those item balls are full evolved level 43 Electrode. Apart from the birds, this is the highest level Pokemon in the game, at least until you get to Victory Road and the level 45 Onix. Catching Electrode is a problem, since it knows self-destruct and it is very fast, making it more stressful to capture than the legendary birds even. But once I got it, this is the part where you use Thunderbolt. I also use Thunder Wave. One more place to catch Pokemon is the Pokemon Mansion, with the Poison-type teams Rocket uses and the Fire-types. Magmar is the version exclusive. The 3 prizes are Muck with Minimize, a very rare high-level Weezing, and a level 35 Vulpix with Flamethrower. Beware, it knows Roar, so it can be annoying to get. Once I got it, this is the only fully evolved Fire type in the game that gets a strong Fire move. I used Ninetales briefly to wreck all of Team Rocket and Silph Go. Now I bench Electrode because levels, but I use the Muck at level 40. You may notice that Minimize not only raises evasion, but also its speed, attack, and defense. This is where I waste a Body Slam because that is the only move Muck gets that isn't a Hyper Beam. The Badge Boost glitch raised all those stats, and I noticed this way back when I started playing Pokemon. In Blue Kaizo, I realized these moves had to go, except for Slowbro, cause Amnesia is kind of the signature move of Slowbro. Anyway, the better, more honorable way, I type match rival Fivel's powerful Pokemon with bad moves. This is the part of the game that the rival gets really scary. His Pidgeotto is strong and has Sand Attack and Quick Attack. Gyarados is always frightening. But now he has a fully evolved Alakazam with Psychic powers. Who's friends with this guy? Luckily the Alakazam doesn't have the move Psychic. Then comes the fully evolved starter. Funny how Gary really steals Giovanni's spotlight though as a battler. Is that foreshadowing that Blue would be the gym leader in Gold, Silver, and Crystal? Giovanni I decided to mod to give it somewhat of a climatic finale. Because the movesets of his Pokemon are really terrible even by the rest of the game's standards. Muck of all things can set up Minimize and decimate even a Rhydon and a Nidoqueen. Sabrina couldn't waste this guy? Speaking of, we finally go up against Sabrina, and because she has Psychic powers, she is actually as dangerous as you would come to expect. Her lead-off Pokemon is Kadabra. It is the deadliest lead I have seen so far of any gym leader. Stab Psychic hurts. It is fast and it has Recover and Reflects, right? Of course I decide to make her even harder. She has a Venomoth in Red and Blue because it knows Psychic moves like Psybeam, more so than Mr. Mime, who is the load of her team. The Saffron Gym and Fuchsia Gym both share the Psychic and Poison typing, oddly enough. Venomoth now goes to Koga, and the level 38 Hypno goes to Sabrina. This made all the difference in that battle, and she nearly wasted me afterwards. I did this battle multiple times to get the Muck sweep, just to demonstrate how cheap and overpowered Minimize truly is. But at the very least, Sabrina is the one that clamped that strat down for good. Sabrina truly deserves the spot as being one of the 2 hardest gym leaders in Generation 1, along with Misty and her Starmie. Because Blaine afterwards is a complete joke. Even with my mods, Blaine is still a joke. Fire types have very bad movesets. Fire types in general are just bad. Go look at my Pokemon Showdown replays and you'll see why. I even gave Blaine an underleveled Moltres just to try to add better move variety. Once the yellow version comes in, I'll make him as threatening as the anime version. Or maybe in the red version, who knows. Seriously, in the anime, Blaine felt like the penultimate gym leader with that frankly threatening Magmar. Here, Blaine uses super potions at full health, and gets wrecked by an Ammonite. He is a bit scarier in yellow and in the remakes. It's a shame because Giovanni has a strong place in the game's lore. The Moltres, the Mewtwo, Dr. Fuji. Maybe in the Fire Red version, he could be considered hard due to underleveled water types, Bite, and all that, and Intimidate. After defeating Blaine, we have access to 2 more powerful Pokemon. Fearow, which is available in all versions at level 43 with Drill Peck. And the version exclusive Sandslash. I finally used that Dig TM. Its Sand Attack and Slash are strong, but it doesn't get any ground moves except TMs. But Darth Vader, the Sand Hater, is very powerful, and slashes his victims. With a powerful team like this, Giovanni has no chance against me. His presence in the gym was quite a twist back then. And due to the anime, I was scared he was going to unleash a Mewtwo on me when I was very little. But he was just as trivial as the previous battles with him. Though his Dugtrio was a threat with Slash, Sand Attack, and Dig, the only Pokemon with good level up moves. With the mods in place, he starts with a Nidoqueen, very trivial, then a Golem, which is never seen in-game without trading. That thing has very decent level up moves, in that he can kill you. At level 42, it keeps his rock move, Rock Throw. Of course I did mess up because the bites are similar to the number with the Moltres. Moving on, we have Nidoking, where Thrash is an inferior move. But with the random AI, once he picks it, he will stay consistent with it. At least it is not Rage. That move is the worst. Finally, Giovanni brings out Dugtrio, his most dangerous ground type because it has high speed and threatening attacks. Sadly, its defenses leave much to be desired, but being as fast as Alakazam has its perks. Now his final Pokemon was changed to Kangaskhan because Rhydon's level up movesets are terrible, even though its stats are beastly as you'd expect from the final gym leader's Pokemon. Even with good moves, anything fast with Surf destroys it though. Kangaskhan has worse special defense, but it has higher speed, and with Earthquake as a special move, better coverage, no more Rage. Dizzy Punch is a unique and scary move exclusive to Kangaskhan. I also removed guard specs to make Giovanni a bit more threatening as well. And then comes Gyarados 11, who consistently trolled Giovanni. He is a bigger version of the rival 5-0. The Alakazam though nearly ended up as a massive roadblock. It is at level 50, same level as Giovanni's Ace, and is the most powerful and dangerous thing you will face before you enter the league, because it has Side Beam, dangerously strong move with Confusion Chance, and Psychic, which will just liquidate you if you don't resist. You know how ridiculously powerful the Abra line is? I used Alakazam and Kadabra in Showdown. Kadabra was once banned from UU for being too powerful, and has a niche as a backup Alakazam with Recover and Thunder Wave, and Sleep Fodder. This fight is the reason you should get Fearow and Sandslash before taking on Giovanni, because this fight can stop you if you are unlucky. Gyarados 11 wasn't kidding when he mentioned that the last 5 fights in the game were the hardest, because Bruno sucks really bad. Before we get to that, I catch one more essential Pokemon, Graveler. It's available in all versions, it has Explosion, and it used it and made me mad, so I had to look again. Once I caught it, I had to train the entire team. But how can you train your Pokemon if they can't gain levels? You still pick up that stat EXP, but you won't get the stat boost until you deposit your Pokemon in your box. Ever notice that sometimes when you put a Pokemon in the box, its HP is sometimes not full? Your Pokemon just gains stats once it is fully deposited. So before the Elite Four, I fought as many trainers as I can, as many Pokemon as I can, while trying to catch every single Pokemon possible with Pokeballs only. I counted. There are 90 Pokemon you could obtain. 93 if you include the birds, but I'm not going to use the birds. At long last, we faced the Elite Four, starting with one of the scarier ones, Lorelei. Ice types do not suck in Gen 1. Freezing moves are indeed powerful, and Blizzard is the most powerful special attack in the game. You get frozen, you are dead if you don't have healing items. I'm not allowed to use them in this run. One quirk with Lorelei is that she likes to use healing moves, and I'm talking about within the move selection AI. One thing I modded is the rest and agility are no longer psychic moves, meaning she will actually attack. Her assortment of Pokemon are found in OU, by the way. That is what I come to expect from an Elite Four team, and during my first battles with the Elite Four, I have died to her ice moves with Venusaur. Although even she suffers from inferior movesets, especially with Slowbro. She's much more dangerous in yellow. Regardless, this fight is tough enough that it's kinda hard to solo her team with Electrode, my strongest Pokemon. Now we get to the fun bit. Bruno. Machamp is one of my favorite Pokemon. I love weight training and muscle games. Bruno is a badass in the anime. It hurts seeing how easy he is here. It isn't until Gold and Silver he gets kinda respectable. And Pokemon Stadium 2 where he is the scariest Elite Four member. You have to wonder, why is he so easy? His team is underwhelming first off with bad stats, so I upgraded his team. The Pokemon stretching this is Jolteon, if only because it learns a good fighting type move, Double Kick, which is accurate, and Graveler does not take it too well at that low level. It had to be level 55 because that's when it learns Thunder. Combined with Pin Missile, it can check flying types and psychic types, somewhat. The second problem, Bruno's movesets are horrible by trainer standards. Every boss has special movesets, but some are worse than others. Psywave, Toxic, and Fissure are bad moves, so I learned how to change them. But level up learn sets matter here, meaning I have to keep track of the levels and specific Pokemon. So I chose Pokemon that have better level up moves than most. Of particular note are ground moves, special attack, and Machamp's moveset. Seismic Toss would have been a good move to keep because at least he could attack. Focus energy is god awful. But with the current limitations, nothing I can do so far than replacing Fissure on a slow Pokemon, with Rock Slide to have coverage on a high attack powered Pokemon. Even with all that, there was a reason why I replaced Bruno with Professor Oak in the Pokemon Blue Kaizo. His AI is beyond god-awful. I'm not just talking about the useless X-Defense he spams, that is easy to fix. I'm talking about his move selection. Even with the changes I made, he's going to pick the wrong moves randomly. His AI is the same as any generic trainer that isn't a youngster or a cue ball. He can keep track of status. Simply changing the status check to good AI, super effective, would resolve much of the issue. Except Poliwrath would spam Hypnosis even when you are asleep. Hacking terms, skip. I had to wrestle with a large portion of the AI list, shifting an array to have room that Bruno has both the status check and the good AI. The result? He may still be easier than Lorelei, but he isn't a free battle anymore. Stats and movesets will need changing, but that's what we have Yellow for. I spent a lot of time attempting to make Bruno much better. Without using the Pokeflute, it is time for a surprisingly scary Elite Four member. I normally say that every boss fight in the game is harder in Pokemon Yellow. Well, this one is kind of a sole exception. Agatha. Her movesets are dangerous on her ghost types. Even with bad AI, she is the fight I have been dreading the most every time I sleep. I just think about what Pokemon could possibly handle being outsped and put to sleep by Hypnosis or trolled by Confuse Ray. How do I kill them in one hit? The answer is either or. You can outspeed with Electrode, but at best it will take 2 turns. You can try one-shotting the Gengar with Graveler or Sandslash, but Gengar will attack first. There is only 1 in 4 chance she will throw the game completely with using Dream Eater on a fully awake lead. But once you are asleep, you are completely at her mercy. You might think, oh switch, but then she uses Hypnosis again, out-predicting you, putting your next Pokemon to sleep. That is how powerful the AI status check is. Oh, and there's no sleep clause in the Elite Four. So naturally, I should make Agatha harder. Because I love to torture myself and everyone around me. Looking back, her Golbat can do what no other Pokemon can do. Erase your badge boost glitch. And Golbat is immune to Earthquake. Even so, you aren't going to abuse the badge boost glitch in this battle. Her Pokemon will always disrupt your attempts to set up. You do not want to give Agatha 3 turns or you will lose. The scary looking Golbat in Gen 1 with that tongue will attempt to confuse you as well. So replacing Golbat with an even scarier Pokemon, Hypno, would suffice. Hypno was found in a Poison Gym, It also uses poison gas over hypnosis, which sucks, but its psychic and headbutt really hurts most of the time. Hypno is going to attack really hard. Venomoth is a massive improvement over Arbok, since it can't combo with Glare and Wrap like it could in Yellow, which is mildly scarier there. Now, Venomoth gets Psychic naturally with Sleep Powder along with Stun Spore. I have lost to her Haunter of all things because of the moveset. One Confuse Ray fail, followed by Hypnosis, and I'm effectively dead. The final Gengar isn't as bad unless you are already asleep, but Confuse Ray could be your end, and don't get cute trying to use Rest. Agatha is at the core a lottery, only impacted by how many levels and how many matchups you have against her. If you have strong super effective fast Pokemon like Kadabra, she is easier than Lorelei. If you don't, she is harder than the final 2 Pokemon most of the time. I hate this fight. I really hate this fight, yet I'm a glutton for punishment as much as anything else, so of course I made her more difficult. In my cold heart, I find it hard to believe that Arbok and Golbat are the Elite 4 tier Pokemon, since Team Rocket uses those. Then comes the man himself. He has a bigger hallway than the other Elite 4 members. His background music is the Pokemon League. If you didn't have a guidebook, this would be the final boss of them all. The final Elite 4 member has mean-looking eyes and a cape. He brings up rare mythical dragon types, and has gym leader music unlike every other Elite 4 member. And he starts off with a brutal Gyarados with Hyper Beam, unlike the previous Gyarados. If you die to Hyper Beam, it can use it again, or another attack like Hydro Pump. And then he flexes this beautiful Dragonair, with a unique type he never fought before. In practice, if you use Venusaur, you win. Agility is Psychic typed, so wait, not this time, I changed it. I also changed the other Dragonair into a Charizard. Just like in Gold and Silver. Unfortunately, Charizard is stuck with the worst move ever, Rage. Slash, Fire Spin, Flamethrower would have been threatening for a solo Venusaur. And then comes Aerodactyl, an extinct Pokemon with a rare Rock and Flying typing. It has Hyper Beam and Supersonic. This can hurt Venusaur, but Haunter walls it except for Supersonic. Then finally comes the coolest Pokemon ever, Dragonite, with Barrier inexplicably. Venusaur slowly beats this, because Lance uses Hyper Potions unlike the other bosses, making him final boss material. So, I replaced the illegal Barrier with the illegal Earthquake. This killed me with a crit, and my team was bodied by Dragonite, so I had to fight everyone, all over again. Just like J-Ross 11, take on the Gyarados, then the Dragonair, use the Badge Boost glitch with Hard and Ungraveler, hardwall everything and waste everyone. Lead Gyarados is similar to Lead Kadabra in that it has some beastly movesets and mild coverage. I did damage calculations, and Electrode cannot OHKO Gyarados at level 43, much to my shock. And what's worse is that some attacks from Gyarados can OHKO Electrode instead. That means Gyarados can one-shot me with Hyper Beam or range me with Hydro Pump. Leer and Dragon Rage are the best case scenarios. I then try Thunder Waving Gyarados knowing Gyarados kills in the next turn. I straight up exploded relying on the setup. Dragonair is ironically too dangerous for Graveler to set up on because 3 Dragon Rages will kill. Perhaps I should have left Dragonair there the whole time instead of Charizard. The fight would have been harder if Rage Charizard wasn't the replacement. Next time in Red, I'll keep that in mind. The gym leader music playing, Charizard is raging as I am silently raging, making the final boss so easy and setting up a maximum defense and bash boosts with Boom the Graveler. Aerodactyl is still faster and could mess me up with Bite Flinches or Supersonic, but neither poor outcome happened. Now I get Earthquake by Dragonite and I'm praying I don't get struck down by a critical hit, or else I rely on Dugong. Surviving with low health, I am now the Pokemon League champion. Except J-Ross 11 beat me to it. Now I did not mod J-Ross 11's team, he keeps the same levels. The most powerful and dangerous Pokemon to keep in mind is Alakazam and Gyarados. Two Pokemon I have been fearing throughout this whole adventure, wondering how could I possibly take those on. Beforehand, I had to bite the bullet. I was going to save Explosion for something else, but I thought, nope, without Electrode, I cannot get past the rival. I did not want this run to become self-destructive to my non-existent sanity. I take on the huge Pidgeot, and it decides it's going to use a not very effective move on Electrode, such as Thunderbolt. Scary, because Sky Attack would really hurt if it ever connected. Luckily, it dies in 2 hits. Out comes the one with psychic powers. The first thing I did was try paralyzing Alakazam, only to realize Alakazam is slower than Electrode, much to my surprise. Unfortunately, it went for Reflect, ensuring Explosion would not kill. My plan then was to bring in Darth Vader and slash it while Master Ball explodes. Luckily, it gets a critical hit. Alakazam dies. My only opportunity is the rival's weakest Pokemon, Rhydon. Now, Lord Vader utilizes this one move that has defeated insurmountable boss battles like Brock and Misty. Sand Attack. Because sand is coarse and no one likes sand. After Rhydon is completely blinded all the way, now I try to set up with Kingler to take out Gyarados. Unfortunately, I had to switch in a lot because Rhydon was landing hits here, even with the shot accuracy. So I set up all 3 Swords Dances, but then it lands a Leer and I'm very annoyed and had to switch. My defense has to be maxed and untouched because Gyarados is going to Hyper Beam Kingler to oblivion if I don't. And there it is, Gyarados. Luckily, I kept Stomp for flinching purposes because I wasn't too sure about Kingler, but it crits the Gyarados and I am panicking. It now leers me and I'm hoping to stop that Stomp kills or flinches. And it did neither. By a miracle, Gyarados went for Dragon Rage instead of Hyper Beam. With one more Stomp, I killed the Gyarados. Leer helped me outspeed Arcanine, and I kill it with Stomp. At this point, I'm letting Kingler take the fall against Venusaur, doing half damage with Stomp and spamming Fearow. Until Kingler flinched Venusaur. If Stomp crits, Kingler goes down, but Kingler finishes off Venusaur and SHF defeated Gyarados. Victory moves it plays, and I have beaten the no EXP run on Pokemon Blue, with enemy mods no less. I really wish I was the first one to have beaten the blue version with no EXP, and a restricted rule set, but someone has beaten it to me first. But I used Kingler and a Sandslash. Electrode is the most important Pokemon in a no EXP run against Elite 4. Graveler was essential for Lance and Agatha. Kingler has been the MVP of the final battle with badge boosted Swords Dance and flinching Stomps. The other blue exclusive is Lord Vader the Sandslash, whose Sand Attack ensured I get safe setup. Dugong was there for support. Fearow was my hidden ace in the hole for the Venusaur, but at least it took on Machamp and sometimes Agatha was stabbed Drill Peck. This challenge was hard, some parts really pissed me off, like the Junior Trainer and Brock at the beginning. All of Agatha are pretty much the early game with the level 5s. I also had to watch my levels, make sure that the bosses were harder to make my Sinister run stand out. Koga, Bruno, Giovanni were the best ones to improve upon. I do plan on doing the Red No EXP run to see how different that is, and how the Pokemon Yellow modded run could be to see how far I go from there. So I urge you all to subscribe, leave a like or a comment, share this video with others, let me know what you thought about the run itself.